Hello and welcome to this installment of Talkin Trim. I'm Jonathon Skinner and today we're looking at the seat hardware setup for the Triumph TR6 model. Now this is specifically for the sort of middle TR6 range cars, so circa 1970 to 1972. It's the European-spec car, so the non-North American. Reclining seats, no headrests. So basically any cars that had the chassis number CP above 50,000. Just to reference that in the book, we're talking about these ones here. So they didn't have headrests, they did recline, and not to be confused with the later, much more commonly seen TR6 ones, which had these stalk headrests fitted in them as well. So like I say, basically not exports to North America. This was generally used for Europe and the rest of the world there. What we've got here is an original seat frame from a customer. We haven't done any sandblasting, acid dipping or powder coating. The customer felt that the frames were good enough as they were, and I tend to agree, a bit of surface rust doesn't hurt anyone, and he wanted to work to a certain budget. So we've got the seat frame there, then we've got the seat hardware, so we've got webbings, we've got foams, we've got diaphragms up underneath, then we've got our seat covers. And what we're doing is we're in the process of trimming them up for the customer. Seat covers have been done in vinyl ambler. Won't go into too much detail on the actual seat cover design because you can see another video for that. See the link down below. Now, although this is only specifically for that that one kind of range of chassis number of TR6s, the main concept of it can be used crossover into other TR6 models. The general principle is the same, although some bits have slightly different shapes, but the overall concept's the same. So I'd say for the American version, the North American version of this, which had the tall fixed headrests, effectively the headrests sort of came up to here and they were fixed in place, they didn't tip forward. The concept of those seats are pretty much the same. The only difference is you have this extra section here for the headrest, but up until that point it's extremely similar. In fact, the cushion bases are almost identical on that, so just bear that in mind there. And actually for the later CRCF style ones with the stalk headrest, again the concept is very similar. So let's have a look. Webbings wise, we've replaced the webbings, but we've reused the clips. Generally the clips are very reusable, so let us know, we can supply with or without clips. The clips that we supply are generically made to fit all the cars, so they do need a bit of alteration depending on which car you have. Very basic alteration though. The webbing we supply is really strong stuff. It's the Pirelli webbing, really robust, a lot stronger than a lot of the alternatives that people offer commonly on the market out there, and we've done that on purpose because you want this to last a lifetime. And the idea being that they are tight as a drum when they are fitted. They're going to ease up over time, so you want to start as tight as you can, and therefore you really want to be pulling and straining from left to right on those things there. It's worth noting as well, some of our Pirelli webbing is actually slightly too wide for the original clips, but it's very straightforward. You just want to be tapering it down, as you can see there, to allow for it. Do not just cut in, because that will rip the webbing over the course of time. So, but if you just gently taper it in, no harm done, and you're still remaining with the core strength there. So it's something we've done for years by design, because it offers a better overall finish and product and longevity to the webbings there. But obviously we've reused the original clips on those. We can offer the aftermarket versions if you prefer. Then on the bases, you've got the diaphragms. Obviously diaphragms do come with new clips and fairly straightforward. They obviously just clip all the way around. Sometimes you'll find that the diaphragm doesn't want to be clipped in sequential order from hole to hole, so sometimes it's actually best to start off with the extremities, to go from one edge to another edge, and same again the other angle. And you'll find that because you stretch it to the ultimate extremities, it then stretches out nicely in place in between all the fixings, so that's always worth it then. Then you've got the seat foams. Now you've obviously got the backrest element, which is kind of done in two sections, and then the cushion base, which is kind of in one section but two processes. So I'm just going to start with the backrest. Now these backrests are particularly odd because they effectively have wings, and you can, when everything's said and done, you can kind of put your hand down the left and right side. So quite an odd design for that particular era there. And so what you do initially is these become the side bolsters, these wings, they kind of wrap around. I'm not going to go into too much detail of the concept of actually trimming. This is more just a setup for the foam. So the backrest, you have two elements of foam there in the middle. The larger one that tapers goes on the base element of the backrest, and then the slightly not so wide, thinner version goes on the top there. You wrap the side retainers round and just lightly anchor glue them in place. You don't need to go overboard. It's always easy to add more glue, impossible to take, well, very hard to take glue off. So we always recommend just go easy on it. You just need to anchor it in place. The rest of the process of trimming will keep that cover securely in place. At the same time, you've got this calico scrim that is pleated into the back of these pleats here on this seat cover here. Do see the video below, which gives a bit more detail of showing that before it was sort of glued to a foam. And the idea with that scrim is it gets pulled through and actually should be trimmed to the back of the webbing. That's a bit of a subject of debate, but that's certainly the way that we've seen original ones done, and we have done them for many years. So you're effectively pulling that all the way through and wrapping it around the appropriate webbing on the back there with a bit of glue. You will find that will really give definition right in the middle where that pleat is, which again we believe to be correct of how they would have left the factory, but over the course of time that eases up, and thus some people don't think you need that definition in there. So it's kind of up to you. You can do it that way and just pull it hard and go around the webbing and you will get that definition, or a lot of people just simply pull the scrum through and glue it to the back of the foam there, in which case you're going to get less definition and it's going to be a bit more kind of straight down the back. I don't think there's really a right or wrong answer, so it's down to preference on how much definition you want going in that particular backrest section there. But if you see other videos on YouTube that I've done, we've actually done a set of these seats and the later seats, and you can really clearly see the definition on those seats there. So that's what I'm referring to. So that's the element there of the backrest foams down the middle. Now the left and right edges, you get obviously these bits for the side bolsters here, which what you've got is it's sort of layers of foam, and you get this scrim surround on it which wraps round the frame and goes onto the back. You can see it all just poking through there, so that's effectively there to attach it to the frame. Then you have this thin foam here that you just loop and wrap around there, which just adds a nice bit of padding to the side bolster back section, and obviously the front section there is the main area of the side bolster. Separate to that piece, you then get this half channel tubing that literally just wraps around the tubular frame there, and again just adds a bit of protection to the frame so that everything looks nice and smooth. So that's the backrest section of that element there. Only other thing to say on the backrest is we provide the hardboard panels which go down in these left and right sort of glove sections down here. They're hardboard, they have the pilot holes on them, they have the spacers on them. Some cars seem to have left with one spacer, other cars with two, and then there's a metal stepped panel which we don't provide. You reuse your old one and that all goes in there and effectively stiffens up those side bolsters where the mechanism is on that there. I have got photos of that process, so do let me know if you want additional photos for that. Only other thing to say on the backrest is, generally speaking, you find that when everything's said and done, these bits here and here are really quite hard to get neat. In fact, we have a couple of original seats upstairs and they don't look the same as one another, and they both don't look great in terms of how neat they are there. So I would say it is a pretty hard area to get looking really neat and tidy, just because of the odd design that these particular seats are. So I wouldn't worry too much if you're having trouble there. However, we have found that having upholstery wadding like this that you can just tuck in behind and push up really does come in useful to get a nice neat finish on there. But ultimately with that, it's down to how much time you want to dedicate to that process there. But just bear in mind that it never looked particularly neat from the factory, so try not to lose sleep over it. Going on to the cushion bases, you've got the main flat foam, which you just lightly glue, anchor in place on the framework there. You kind of shove it up underneath these side bolsters. Then we always say do the sort of center mark on it there, and then get this surround in place again. You're shoving it right underneath these side bolsters there, roughly laying it up to the front there and drawing some lines across just as a guide. But then you're going to pull this out. This doesn't need to stay in place for the time being, so that will come out. Once that's done and your markings are on there, you can put this finisher foam on there, so that goes up to that lip there and down to here on the frame and wraps around, just adds a bit of padding to there as well. And then for the trimming process, kind of similar concept to that with the scrim. You've got these scrims, you've got the one that goes all the way around the outside, which effectively goes around this circumference here and pulls down. Sorry, it will wrap over the top of this section here like that. And then you have the in-between options. So actually these bits are kind of the crucial ones first, in that one tucks underneath here and gets glued down sort of there, and then the left and right's same again, down and down there, and that just kind of holds it in place. And then these gets glued into place round those sections there, so you're kind of entering into a dish section there that then you anchor down, and you're pulling round using these scrims to attach it in place a bit, and then the vinyl around the bottom of the frame like that. So yeah, that's kind of the quick fire overview. Like I say, it's not a trimming guide, it's just a basic foam setup guide. I'm trying to do more and more of these videos, try and give back to the community a bit more in those sorts of things. Obviously I want to demonstrate the quality of our kits, but I also want to help people be able to get the best results from our kits. A John Skinner kit is the only way of getting the best results in your car, but a John Skinner kit does not guarantee the best results in your car. You still have to do a bit of the trimming work yourself, or find a competent trimmer to do it for you. And this is why I'm trying to guide people with these videos. So this is hopefully going to be the first of many videos that I'm going to do, helping people through various stages of the trimming process using our products. So this guide is only applicable to our products because we know how we make our products in line with the original spec of things, and thus we're giving you the best guide on how to fit our specific products to the car. So other people out there that might have bought kits elsewhere, sure, you might find it semi-useful, but you can't take it as gold. And we know our standards that we work to, we know the process and the fitment, and this is why I've done the YouTube channel, to show finished up, trimmed up seats to a very high level, and that's using the kits I'm showing in this video, not other people's kits. So best to play it safe and always go with us. I mean, just look online at the club forums and things like that. We are renowned for our quality and workmanship, so take no chances basically when choosing a supplier. Anyway, enough on that. Please remember to read the description below, as there might be some useful links to other kits that we can offer for your TR6 restoration. Hope you found it useful. Please remember to like, subscribe and share with other classic car enthusiasts, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.